Hi, welcome to the episode of Utah Crossbow Hunter, where today we're going to start a short series, 4 or 5 part series, I'm not sure which yet, on home defense with a crossbow. So before we get into that, remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, hit that like button, and make a comment below. Also, remember, hey, ring that bell. I keep forgetting to say that, but ring that bell so when I got new episodes coming out. Also, you can send me an email at utahcrossbowhunter@icloud.com and visit my website at www.utahcrossbowhunter.com. So, without any further ado, let's get into today's show. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about home defense with a crossbow. But before we get more in depth into that, remember, every state, county, city, jurisdiction has their laws. Okay, you have the castle doctrine laws, you have the stand your ground laws. You need to make sure you know your laws in your state. Okay, that's very, very important because those, let's say, let's use California. Yeah, California is an example. Communist state, and all that kind of good stuff. Oops, did I say that? But they don't have stand your ground laws there. They don't have the castle law there. But with that said, self defense in a home, whether you're using the crossbow or using a gun, you need to make sure of a couple of things. Um, for example, in your home, are you required to um, um, seek safety? You mean, in other words, get out of the situation that you're in. Get out. Go through a window or whatever. But again, obviously, sometimes if you're on a second story floor, kind of hard to get out of a window if you're on the second floor. But again, you got to know your laws that you have in your state. Okay, whether it be a handgun or with a crossbow, either one, you got to know your laws. Um, Here where I live at, I have stand your grounds. I have the castle doctrine. I guess it's called doctrine, something like that, where I can carry my gun uh, legally because we're a constitutional carry state, but I do have my CCW. I can carry my gun. I can have it in my house or my car, either one. Um, and I don't have to retreat. I just stand your grounds. But obviously, the best thing to do is before you get into that situation is be familiar with your area that you're in, the lighting in your area, and things like that. Because that all could be a factor, especially if you're in a state that has where they want you to retreat first and then call 911. Sometimes we just can't do that. Again, it depends on the situation. Every situation is different, but hopefully none of you ever have to use a crossbow or a weapon as self-defense. That's the last thing I want to see anybody do, including me. I mean, my family comes first. My safety of my family comes first, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family. So that's why we're talking about crossbows for home safety um, and home defense. Uh, Again, you got to know your state laws, your local laws, and all that kind of good stuff about crossbows also. Um, some states don't have really crossbow regulations for home defense. Most states don't. Um, but again, we've seen where it was in England, I think it was. I may be wrong, where a guy did killed a lot of people with a bow and arrow. Okay, so I mean, was that the wrong thing to do for him to do? Absolutely, he was a nutcase. Okay, an isolated case with a bow and arrow. Okay, isolated. But we all know how the things are going. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to get into any of that kind of stuff. But knowing your laws in your states is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. So let's go talk some crossbows. Okay, so here I have my Carbon Express crossbow and my Jaguar crossbow here. So we're going to talk about a little bit about those for home defense. Now, the biggest thing with crossbows for home defense is that they're big and bulky. Okay? And the Jaguar though isn't that big and bulky. It's just it's a little bit smaller and lighter. But when you're in a closed quarters type situation, your house, okay, you're probably only going to get one shot with a crossbow. And it's got to be a good shot. Hopefully you never have to do that. But again, you have to look at your lighting in your house. Because most houses, lights are off. Maybe. But for that, I mean, it's, are you going to go around turning all your lights on? That's going to be up to you. I can't tell you. For me personally, I don't want to be lit up. If they're in a room that's lit up, I'm going to stay probably in the shadows, or try to stay in the shadows as much as possible. And you want to keep cover as much as possible. However that's going to be. It's going to be, again, depending on your house, your situation with a crossbow for home defense. So, personally, maybe the smaller crossbow would be better. I don't know. That's going to be up to you on what you're going to use. Again, you got to look at arrows, field tips, broadheads, and again, we'll talk about those in another episode later on down the road. But as far as crossbows are concerned, you got one shot. That's it. Just one shot. Because obviously it takes a minute, 2 minutes, whatever, especially when you're adrenaline's pumping. You probably take a couple of minutes to reload the crossbow. But are they good for home defense? That's going to be up to you. Again, we talked about it earlier, the laws in your state, your city, your county, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing about it is, if you hear an intruder coming in, your crossbow is not going to be cocked and loaded. All right? So you're going to have to cock this thing and load it before you come out of your room. Could your intruder hear you? That's another good question about that. So, again, crossbows for home defense? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. That's gonna be totally up to you and your laws that you have. This feels kind of loose. What's loose on this? Might have to tighten down the hand grip a little bit. But anyways, that's just my perception for crossbows home defense. But this is only part one of 4 parts, maybe 4 or 5, depending on what I come up with. I got some ideas for home defense with crossbows. But the big bulky crossbows, that's gonna be your decision on that. I can't tell you yes or no, because like I said, I have guns in my house that I can get to. But again, whatever your laws and stuff are in your state, county, city. Okay? So that's just a brief take on crossbows for me. But if I had to, would I use a crossbow? Yes, I would. But wait till the end of the series to find out which one I will use or could use for home defense in my home. So let's go back over and finish this up, and I'll see you in a few minutes, a couple minutes, 1 minute. Okay, so we are back. I hope that gives you kind of an insight on the home defense with crossbows. But like I said, it's all going to depend on your laws, your situation, and what you got going on. Again, crossbows are big, they're cumbersome. They're not like a handgun, they're not like a rifle, where you got multiple shots. You only got one shot with the crossbow. So, like I said, this is going to be a 4 or 5 part series on crossbows, the types of crossbows for home safety. I think you're going to be surprised with some things that I'm going to be bringing to you about that. And again, we're going to be talking about multiple types of crossbows, arrows, and even sights. We'll be talking about those. So hit that subscribe button. Hit that, ring that bell, because you want to know when more episodes are coming up. And like I said, we're subscribers. You guys are doing great. Keep the good work up. So with that said, remember, family first. Take care of your family. By all means, get out there and hunt, and see you on the next episode of Utah Crossbow Hunter.